I just hope I'm reading this right, but so far it keeps telling me the moonrise will be over there. Hello, it's Thursday evening. It's the evening before the eclipse and I'm trying to find a good spot to shoot from. The moon should rise over there. I made sure I brought a compass and the sun is just setting, so there's not going to be much to see for another hour or so, I guess, but I need to get an idea what I'm up against here. Okay, the moon is now clearly visible. I take a picture every 5 minutes. I'm currently at 1/80th of a second shutter speed, f5.6, ISO 64. That is going to change, of course. As you can see, I shoot in live view, and I highly recommend bringing one of these loops as well, so you can check if sharpness is the way you like it, right then and there. If you've read my latest post in my blog, you will know why I'm not exposing to the right here. It's because the red channel will blow out, and that is why I'm underexposing. By the way, I used back button focus, and the advantage is if I press the shutter button, which is on a timer with a 2-second delay, if I press that shutter button, I don't refocus, so I could easily set up my lens to focus at infinity and never change it. I don't think I'll take the actual picture here because there's nothing here. There's nothing to go with the moon, to go with the eclipse. At least now I had an idea how to go about it. I needed a subject to the southeast with a somewhat low horizon that I could reach by car within an hour at most, and that wouldn't be crowded with photographers. That didn't leave me much choice, so the following day I made for a familiar location. So why did I come here? Well, this is a location a colleague of mine discovered, and it's not known to many photographers, so I figured there wouldn't be many photographers around tonight. And so far there are none except me, and yeah, I like it that way. So what I'm trying to do here is some kind of multiple exposure combined with a curve, the one behind me, to give it a bit more foreground, because the moon phases alone don't make an image. The foreground and the background together do. So the curve you can see behind me will be my foreground for this lunar eclipse shot. The lunar eclipse shot itself will be a sort of a multiple exposure, except that I'm not going to take a multiple exposure, but I'll blend the frames together in Photoshop, and yeah, we'll see how that goes. I'm a total noob as far as compasses are concerned, but there's no getting around bringing one when you are going to shoot a lunar eclipse. I just hope I'm reading this right, but so far it keeps telling me the moonrise will be over there. Okay, I've changed composition 3 times already. May not have been the last. And this place is quite busy. At least not busy with photographers. That's some relief. I'm not sure where the moon will appear in the image. That is a moment of surprise. But I think I've decided on a composition, and we'll just go with it no matter what happens. I started shooting car trails first, because I knew trying to do this later on with the moon on a 5-minute schedule would be hard to pull off. Eventually the sun had set and the appointed time for the moonrise came and passed, but there was no moon to be seen. I started wondering if I had made a mistake, when suddenly I caught a glimpse of some reddish something in the sky, and it struck me that this was the moon, just very faint. It was to the far right of the picture, which was a problem, because obviously I wouldn't be able to fit the longest eclipse of the moon in this century into the picture, at least not with this composition. However, I had the car trails to consider as well. Those would be lost if I changed composition at this point, so I stuck to my guns and hoped I'd figure out how to do that in post later on. I took 68 frames in total that night, and I had a feeling that this wasn't going to be an easy edit. The hardest part was to figure out how to piece the trajectory together. I rotated the camera a couple of times to track the moon, so simply aligning layers in Photoshop wouldn't work. So I came up with this idea. I'd take a shot shortly before moving the camera and shortly after, so I'd have a reference point. The shot taken before the movement. Of course, the moon will move a bit in that time span, but I considered it minute. Here's what the reconstructed trajectory looks like. In order to fit this trajectory into the image, I decided to move it to the left and down. No, I don't feel bad about that. What would have been the alternative? From that point on, I continued with my usual workflow and arrived at this image.